All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of SaberSim's DFS office hours. Today is Monday, June 10th of 2024. Looking ahead here, we have a 6-game MLB main slate later this evening. Hope you guys all enjoyed game 2 of the NBA Finals last night. So for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at SaberSim. This is a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. You get your questions in one of 3 ways here. First off, send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Second, post it live in the YouTube chat. Third way, post it in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord and want to get access to that channel, there was a link in the description of this video. You also get access to our similar channels, individual sport channels, and you get access to the rest of the SaberSim teams. Can't say enough good things about the Discord. With that said, we do this show Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we do this show here on Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. So tune in any of those days and get your DFS questions answered. But it is Monday, so we do have to announce the winners of this week's PGA Birdie Battle promotion. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with it, it's a promotion that we've been doing for the golf season all season long here, and we're about halfway through, so still plenty of time to get in on the action here. So I'm going to get this link to the page in the chat so you guys can check that out, and I'll pull it up here on the screen. So our big grand prize that we're giving away at the end of the golf promotion is 2 tickets to next year's Masters event, where you will get to go out to the Masters and have a awesome experience. So we're really excited to give those away at the end of the year here and to announce the winners for this week. So dropping down to our prizes. So for our weekly prizes, top finisher is going to get a custom SaberSim golf hat and an entry into our end of the season Masters free roll. And then we're giving away entries to this upcoming week's birdie contest. We do have the US Open coming up this week, so should be a really fun week. I already saw there are a couple milli makers in the lobby, so it looks like we just finished the Memorial, and then we have the US Open coming up here this week. So for our winners for this week, our top finisher was Marnie Blitz with a 3rd place finish, 476 points. Congratulations to you. And then what I've done here is grabbed all the names of everybody who's participated this week, dropped them into our trusty wheel of names here. I'm going to click shuffle a couple of times here, and we are going to see who wins a free entry into next week's contest. So it looks like our winner is going to be, drum roll, I'm going to go Karen's 99. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to both of our winners this week. And you guys keep racking up those week by week entries here to get access to all of our end of the season prizes. So along with the weekly prizes, we have rewards for all 4 majors and then playing all 14 weeks of the challenge here. So good luck to all of you in this coming week, and I hope to see some more names up at the top of some leaderboards. All right, with that said, going to get SaberSim pulled up here, and we're going to jump into questions that came in. So it looks like our first question here came in from Slippin' Jimmy. We're going to get this one in the chat. And Jimmy said, can you show me how to set up a pitching rule? I want a rule that I can adjust pitchers based on projected strikeouts. Okay, so I would say that a filter would probably be a little bit better here. So there's 2 schools of thought here, right? And the reason I say filters is what filters do is it controls which pitchers are in your available player pool. So what this would look like, I would go to this filter icon next to the search icon, go to add filter, and then I would say, hey, show me players, and I'm only going to select pitchers here. So I'm going to unselect all the other positions. I'm going to say show players with, and then I'm going to go down to strikeouts greater than X. And then X is going to be, whatever number you decide, right? One of the and basically decide, hey, where do I want to make this cutoff, right? Maybe I don't want to play any pitcher who's projected for less than 5 strikeouts. So then what I would do is I come in here, I set up that rule, hey, or this filter, hey, show players with strikeouts greater than 5. We said 5. And then now it's going to uncheck all of the pitchers whose strikeouts are less than that value. So that is one way to do it here. The difference between doing a filter and a rule, right? A filter basically says, hey, these guys are the only ones available, but it doesn't tell you who to play. Now, if I wanted to do something different where, maybe I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, where maybe I want to leave all the pitchers in the player pool, but I want to make a rule instead, right? And what this rule would look like is I'm going to do a group rule. I'm going to do an automatic rule. And then I'm going to say use at least one. And then I'm going to leave group by unchecked here. I'm going to go to positions. I'm only going to select pitchers. And then I'm going to say use at least one pitcher. And then I'm going to add a requirement. And then I'm going to say whose strikeouts are greater than, and then maybe we do something like 6, right? Like, hey, I want to use one of these top 3 pitchers, Cease, Gilbert, or Paddock. They're all projected for over 6 strikeouts, and I want to use at least one of them, and I don't care what other pitcher gets used. Well, this is another way to write a rule where you can have a pitcher requirement via strikeouts, right? So adding this stat requirement is another way to do it. So I would figure out which one of those 2 ways better suits the problem that you're trying to solve, and then decide which way you want to go. So either one of those should work just fine. All right, looks like we have 2 questions here from Larson. Andrew, is there a maximum number of different 3 max contests you should enter before repeating a lineup to maximize ROI? If I do 4 3 max contests, 12 entries, and only one of the 12 lineups cashes because of diversifying my lineups with the uniques, it's hard to build a bankroll consistently. And then second question here, we'll get to that one second. So first thing here is that, I think that if you're only playing 3 max contests, you're probably doing yourself a little bit of a disservice, right? Our DFS profit plan, which is our contest selection framework that we created via a lot of back testing, says to split up your entries, your nightly bankroll allocation, right? You have your bankroll, say you have $100, right? Or say you have like a little bit more than that. Maybe you have $50. I'm sorry. Let's say you have 500, right? So your nightly bankroll allocation, we recommend playing 2.5 to 5% of your bankroll. That's about $25 at the top end, right? So you have your $25. We say split that into 25 to 50% single entry and 3 max, 25 to 50%, 20 max and 150 max, right? You shouldn't just be playing for 3 max contests. Like, only playing single entry, only playing 12 lineups isn't really that many at the end of the night, right? That's why we recommend playing a mix of large field and then a mix of small field. And then if you look at it, the single entry and 3 max are actually on the smaller side. They're the 25 to 50% of your bankroll allocation. So you could be playing, 25% single entry and 3 max and then 75% 20 max and 150 max contests, where you're putting more money into the contest where you can actually enter more lineups. So first thing I would say is contest selection is going to be super important. Second thing here is that, if you just look at like raw cashing probabilities, right? Like typically your contests are going to be like 20% cash rate. Well, if you're only entering, you said 12, let's say 10, for instance, we'll just round to 10 here for easier math. You can expect only 2 of those entries just to cash at all. Like 8 of those, mathematically 8 of those contests are going to not cash, and only 2 of them are going to get across the cash line. That doesn't mean you're going to win, right? Like, the cash rate is about 20%, but most of the time you're getting paid 1.5 to 2x your money when you get to the cash line, right? The important thing here is that you need to build lineups with upside. You need to build lineups that can get to the top of a contest, because that is where the payouts are going to multiply. It's not like a linear payout structure. you're going to see 5%. Like it really depends on the contest and the format that you're playing. So I hear where you're coming from. I think it's going to be important to maybe look at your contest selection. I think diversifying is still the right answer. Basically, what you're trying to avoid is nights where you're losing, 90% ROI, where all of your lineups are, so correlated to each other that they're either all on one side of the standings, all on the other. But DFS is a high variance game, and the variance is already, enormous compared to sports betting, compared to poker, compared to No Limit Hold'em, compared to Pot Limit Omaha. And, you want to do everything you can to smooth out that variance over time. All right. Second question here. And question says, let's try that one more time. All right. Question says, has anyone run the ROI calculation to see if we should always max out a 150 or if we have a better overall ROI if we only put in 50 or 100 lineups, since many of them are dead, by trying to diversify to find the one that hits the top payout? I don't know if anyone here has done the math on it, but what I would say here is I think entering a unique lineup in each entry and maxing out the entries is the right thing if your bankroll permits. And the reason I say that is because players are maxing out these contests, right? If you go and look at the flagship contest, at the biggest contest on any given night, there are a lot of sharp players in the DFS lobby who have won milli makers, who have won multiple milli makers, who continue to crush year after year. And I would say, if they are max entering, well, there is a reason they are max entering, right? Basically, what they're trying to do is they are trying to get as many lineups in play to speed up their edge. So basically what this looks like is, if we have a single entry contest and there are 100 players in it, right? Your raw chance of winning is 1 in 100. Well, then you got to account for skill. Well, maybe somebody is twice as good as everyone else. Well, that just means that they're going to win, 1 out of 50 times instead of 1 out of 100. Now, what the best players are doing in these multi-entry formats is they are trying to enter the most lineups they can because they know they have this edge over time. And they're trying to basically speed up how fast they can realize their edge, right? We talk about sim ROI, and it's great to, theoretically be entering good lineups that win money over time. But ultimately, the goal for everyone here, right, is to realize that edge and cash in on that sim ROI and win real dollars, right? Well, like that is what that is why people max out these contests. They are trying to get to that realization of that hypothetical ROI faster. So if you can enter the max number of lineups, that is always going to be better. You are just assuming you're taking a bigger stake in the contest and hoping to increase your odds of winning the contest. So if you can max it out, I would say enter 150. If you can't, it is okay to enter less than the maximum. But if you had to choose between one or the other, I would choose 150 maxing. All right. Next question here. Question says, for the $3 mini max today, what are the best settings and filters to use for this contest using the Sims? And should I cap pitchers at a certain percent? Okay, so if I were playing the $3 mini max today, what I would do is I would go to my contest. I would go set up my contest sim. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to sort by max entries, $3, 150 max, set up my contest sim just by right clicking it on the contest tab, saving that. Now I'm going to come into my build, right? And first thing I need to do is set up my build settings. So what I like to do is I like to lower minimum salary. I like to, allow the builder to put all types of different lineups in my build. I don't want to constrain it with salary. I just trust the builder. So it's a GPP. Entry limit is 150, and then entries is 10 to 50K, right? It was like 26,000 entries, I believe. So that all looks good. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this playing something like a 2-game slate. So after that, going to make 2 small adjustments to projections here. And then I'm going to run my lineups, right? As far as settings go, that is all that I am doing. And, I'm not saying that's what everyone's doing, but that is, what I'm doing. I'm trusting the projections, trusting the ownership, think Sabersham has all of that under control. I am, ready to run my lineups at this point. Now, the second question is, second part of your question was, should I cap pitchers at a certain percent? I don't love this in general. And the reason I don't love it is because ownership changes, right? If you say, hey, I never want to play more than 50% to any one pitcher, well, what are the ownership projections, right? And if I come in here, Dylan Cease is projected for, 48% ownership, right? So if I cap him at 50%, then I am basically limiting myself to being equal with the field and never being able to get leverage on that player. Now let's go and take like another slate. Maybe it's a big 10-game slate. Well, maybe the top pitcher is like 20%. Well, then now, that changes, right? So, and then, what happens if we go play a 2-game slate where there's, maybe somebody's like 64% owned. Now I'm guaranteeing myself negative leverage on that pitcher. So, just coming in here and having like a blanket rule of like, hey, I only play a pitcher at, 50% exposure, I think is wrong, mostly because ownership changes, slate context changes, and, you got to be a little bit flexible with understanding those variables and accounting for them accordingly. But all right, taking a peek here. That was our last question in the office hours channel, and looks like no questions here in the YouTube chat. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Our support team will reach out to the winners for this week for the birdie battle. Appreciate you guys participating each and every week. We do have a major coming up this week, so it should be a ton of fun. So until tomorrow, everyone, I will see you all then, 4 p.m. Eastern. Take care. Good luck. Thanks. Bye.